Good morning, everybody. I'm Ron Phillips, and I'm back with you this morning. I am the producer of the Daily MoJo. Now, while Brad and Beth are still on vacation this week, we're replaying our episodes from the International UFO Museum in Roswell, New Mexico, and we were there for the International UFO Festival that took place this last week. On today's episode of the Daily MoJo, we're going to replay our Saturday, July 5th episode. And since Brad and Jeffy weren't able to do their Saturday morning live show, our buddy Jeffy joins us for most of this episode. Now, in this episode, we have several fantastic interviews. Coming up first, of course, is the man you've all heard about, Travis Walton. He joins the show, and in 1978, Walton wrote the book, The Walton Experience, detailing his abduction claims, which became the basis for the 1993 film Fire in the Sky. He tells a compelling story of alien abduction that has become lore in the community. Now, he's also joined by filmmaker Jennifer Stein, and she directed the documentary about Travis Walton. And finally, we visit with civil engineer Dennis Balthaser. During the past 30 years, he has researched the 1947 Roswell incident. He's also done extensive research about underground bases, Area 51, and the Pyramids of Giza. This was a fun episode, and we wanted you to be able to see it. We've got additional interviews coming up the remainder of this week, so stay tuned. And with that, here's today's episode.
Prepare yourself for an out-of-this-world edition of the Daily MoJo. This 4th of July weekend, we've traveled to a storied location of the United States, the desert Southwest, home to the legendary White Sands Test Facility and the most enduring story of alien visitation in the universe.
Live from Roswell, New Mexico.
We're celebrating America's 249th birthday by immersing you in one of our country's most compelling stories of our neighbors from space. The newest aliens in town are card-carrying members of the Mutual UFO Network, Brad Staggs and producer Ron.
It is another stunningly beautiful day in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. The sun is shining, the people are smiling, the aliens inside the International UFO Museum and Research Center here on Main Street. The aliens are in there. They are standing guard over their spaceship. We did discover some interesting information about the aliens this morning.
That you're going to have to give up?
I don't know. Just saying, I know those bad boys moved. And after our conversation yesterday with, and I'm glad that Jeff Fisher is with us as well from Chewing the Fat.
How are you? Thank you.
I'm contractually obligated to express my gratitude for his presence on the program this morning. So it's
very
almost
excited.
Almost like this is like the Daily MoJo meets Chewing the Fat meets Saturday Morning Live meets the X-Files meets Aliens meets Roswell.
I know you've been busy at the festival, the International UFO Festival, or whatever they call themselves down there. But all is starting to be right with the world again. I mean, Joey Chestnut has reclaimed his crown as the hot dog eating contest champion.
I saw that.
Wait, did I see some chick eating?
Yeah, Mimi.
Well,
what's her name? Mimi.
Yeah, Suko is the champion.
Suko.
Mickey Sudo is the champion.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a woman stuffing hot dogs down her pie hole.
Well, there's the women's contest and the men's contest. Apparently, they haven't heard that men and women should be competing against each other. They have separate entities. Yeah, Mickey's she's been a champion for quite some time. But Joey only ate 70.5 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
What's his usual?
Well, the record, I think he holds is 76, something like that. Yeah.
Oh, how apropos. 76.
Can you imagine
hot dogs
shoving with buns?
1776. We're trying to relate this to the 4th of July and the Independence Day in America.
I am
76.
It's amazing. I can't. I'm not a speed eater. I'm like the Kenyan rules of eating.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly. I'm in for the distance.
It's nasty when they soak up their buns.
They
with
do
water,
throw it in water and then shove it
so it glides down the old gullet a little faster. It's just
anyway. All is starting to be right with the world because things are coming back on tilt. But I love the fact that you guys are in Roswell. I watched the documentary last night, Independence Day. And,
yeah, they have a whole display in here about that.
I saw that. I saw that we learned in that documentary how they pay for all their extracurricular activities, and we also learned that Roswell got a shout out as well in the movie.
Yeah,
you knew then, and you did nothing.
See,
Yeah.
The percentage of people that believe now that UFOs are aliens is up to 36% now, up from 20% in 1996, according to YouGov.
What's the percentage of people believing that we landed on the moon?
Okay, I don't have that.
I bet you that number is got to be at least 25.
Who was it? Yeah,
25%.
we talked to a really smart dude yesterday, Dr. Joe Buchman, who is very, very smart guy. He's got a lot of degrees, and he believes, because I ran past him my idea that we didn't get to the moon the first time, that we've been to the moon, but not the first time. He thinks we did the first time.
Yeah.
But, and here's where the twist comes. So, super smart dude, thinks we got there the first time, and also believes the moon could be a hollow spaceship.
Yep. No, that's true. That's true.
And
it's also full of cheese. Okay, I got it.
Okay, it's not. It's full. It's not cheese. It probably does inside the moon though smell like a machine shop.
Sure.
That's what the
ISS smells like.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking if the moon is a base from which, and we were looking at the moon last night. Remember that?
Yes,
we were
we
standing
did.
out
Yeah,
there
we
looking
were.
at the moon and thinking that is a perfect place from which to observe the entire Earth. I mean, think about it. It sits there. You couldn't design a better location.
The documentary, The Truman Show, that's what proves it to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But this, the problem with the Truman Show is that it would have been was so easy for him to get to the horizon and to go up and knock on the dome ceiling.
But he didn't do it for like 26 years or
right,
something.
because he was content.
Yeah, okay.
We don't have a way to figure out personally whether or not the moon is an observation station. We can't. We have to trust.
We will soon though, because we're sending Artemis up and.
Yeah,
well,
that's going to be our base.
All right. Well, if you're a gazillionaire, you can go up there.
No, but I mean, that's actually. I mean, the only way that we're going to get to Mars is using Moon as our launching pad. That's the plan. Or is that ever going to happen? I don't know. It's seemingly looking less and less possible. But that's what it's supposed to be. That the Moon is supposed to be our launching pad, which is why all the other countries are, trying to get there and stake their claim. We own it. Okay, China, India, Japan, we own it. All right, we've already put our flag down. It's ours.
About four or five times.
Wait a minute, didn't you just did a story about somebody who flew over Antarctica?
Yeah,
and got arrested.
Yeah, the content Instagrammer kid, and he's probably got I don't know how many millions on TikTok, but he's got hundreds of thousands on Instagram, and he's flying around the world, going to every continent,
right,
to highlight cancer research. For
kids.
And he landed without telling anyone in Antarctica.
What?
That was a mistake.
Are you? Wow.
But what's the big deal? Why? I mean, what's the big whoop? If there's nothing there,
I don't know.
Then who cares?
You're not supposed to. The flat earthers will tell you that nobody's ever gone all the way around the Earth. When you look at the flight patterns, that's what they say.
Well, I want to know why this kid was arrested. Okay, so it's illegal to fly over Antarctica, but why?
I think you can fly over that. Well, maybe there's part of a no-fly zone, but you can't land there. Right.
Why?
And it's weird that he was arrested by the Chilean police. So apparently Chile's got some kind of base there, and you don't want to mess with.
It's always the Chileans.
It is always with the Chileans.
Isn't there a treaty that keeps you from flying over
you
or,
cannot,
or landing? or something?
Antarctica
Yeah.
cannot be used for
without special dispensation from on high.
Oh,
right
not going
for
there.
any
Yeah.
military purpose. It's there. We can all investigate it and look into scientific stuff, but you can't go down there and start making bombs. You can't. You
Wow.
can't.
Uh-huh.
Can you own a gun when you're
But
in
the
Antarctica?
flat earthers will tell you, if you think about it, is that, which I always love this, if you look at the maps of the flat earthers where, what is beyond where we're at,
Yeah.
that's just, other continents and other things. So the aliens that we see, like in Roswell, come from there.
There's something about. Oh gosh, what was the general? Not Nimitz. Anyway, the guy who flew down there and then saw the big open patches
open space,
green and there's a base down there. There's something going on in Antarctica. There's something there because it's just it's too weird.
Yeah, but didn't the story come out that was actually the Arctic Circle, not Antarctica?
Oh, right. Oh, that yes.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what they'd try to do, of course, if they got too close to what's happening in Antarctica. But see, who did we have the discussion with yesterday? And before I forget, because I will if I don't say it right now, because Jeff sent me a text or asked me about our conversation with Don Schmidt on Thursday.
Oh,
right?
okay.
We talked to him Thursday.
You teased it for yesterday.
I did.
I sat through your whole darn show waiting for that interview. I feel hurt. I'm robbed. I was robbed.
We did get the interview. It just wasn't on the live show.
I wasn't robbed of great entertainment. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I was looking forward to that interview.
Well, we did talk to him, and we talked to him for what, half an hour? We had another. We had a conversation with him. We will play that back. That is going to be. When are we playing that back?
Monday or Tuesday.
Monday or Tuesday.
I'll put a show together for those.
So that's what we call a tease.
Since we're out all next week. Well,
Right.
not we.
Wait, what?
Brad.
Oh, well,
Brad's out all next week.
What?
Yeah.
all next week. I have important government contracts to fulfill. I have. There's a lot of research that needs to be done out here in the desert.
I'm telling
Southwest.
you, he did seek another contract while we were out there filming. That was pretty cool.
I did tell
Don
Schmidt, who is he is Mr.
Fix It.
He's Mr. Roswell UFO Museum. I mean, I did not realize
does everything here. Apparently,
he's like the heartbeat of this location. I did not know that he is everywhere. And I told him because he's going to be over in New Zealand and Australia and
Dubai, and he'd be out of the country
he's
until
a world,
March. He said
world traveler, and so I said, you need some stuff fixed here at the museum while you're gone. You just let me know. And he said, all right. So I think they're. I have a feeling they're going to call me when the toilet gets clogged.
Wow, I mean
that's a 7-hour drive to plunge.
It is, right? Just, here's what you need to do.
That was big of you to become the floor mopper at the museum.
It was.
Brad actually wants to put his hands on aliens.
I do. I want to get my hands up on into those alien bodies in there, and
You should devise a plan to make them move again.
Well, that's a good idea. I like that.
I don't know. You said that they're made of some kind of latex thing, right? So,
And they're latex, but they have bladders in them.
Don't we all?
do I still have, wait,
yes,
do I
we
still
do.
have my bladder? Yeah, I think I do. Yeah.
Curtis over in the Rumble chat room, who we are going to attempt again to keep our eye on the chat room, and I say we, I mean I, because Ron won't. Keep my eye on the chat rooms, plural, so that we can get your questions in more on a timely basis.
Do we actually have anybody listening on Saturday morning? I mean, I know you
got,
guys do.
Whoa.
I know you guys do, but I was just checking.
Let's see. We got Space Hippie on vacay in there.
It's a little bit different time for you guys out there.
Freebie 38 is in there. Curtis is in that chat room as well, and the other chat room is somewhere else, and I'll find that one. Over here, Brando G, Renalian, Bucko, Hobo Joe is in there. Kevin B. Hi, y'all. And Hobo Joe says, now I have the waiting screen. But we're broadcasting, right?
We are broadcasting live.
To the site. We're on X.
We're on X.
Are we on Jeffy's X?
We're not on Jeffy's X. I don't have Jeffy's X.
I promoted your X account, though.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Oh, that was awfully That was stand up. That was very stand up of you.
I felt like I would be asking too much if you were going to stream it on my X account, because I just heard from you moments ago. I have this old computer that I don't know how to use. So
No, I didn't say I don't know how to use it.
I can't see email, or
I can't.
I don't know how to log into accounts. I just can't.
My phone is more powerful than this old computer. This thing I can beat nails with.
Use that.
Except I can't get my phone emails to go to the computer for some reason. It's old. It's trying really. It's starting to smell like pee. It's. I feel bad for this computer.
Don't we all when we get old?
That's my point exactly. Let's see. Cougar is smoking ribs. Do we get Jeffy for the whole 2 hours?
Oh, I don't know about that.
That depends, Florida man in Alabama. Let's see that money.
I mean,
sign.
we do have another interview coming up here in about 15 minutes, and they may be running a little bit late. We heard. We did talk to him this morning. So,
that person is with Travis Walton, and
is Travis going to be here too?
Yeah.
We need another chair. Oh, yeah. But yeah,
and we Travis Walton, who was the subject of the film Fire in the Sky. I didn't realize this, and I know I get Wikipedia is a cesspool because you can't trust it because anybody can get in there and say anything about anybody. But I didn't realize that there were people saying that his story was a hoax. No, I'd never heard that before. And you know what? You can say that about any of the stories.
Say that
there are
about
people out there that say that about any and all those.
They want to discredit everything.
Right. But the thing that really got me yesterday, I don't know why this didn't hit me before, but imagine that you are traveling around and have been doing so for 50 years, and the main focus of your story is your rape, which is when you are abducted by aliens. And let's just go
if you're probed, yes.
If you are probed, you are being even worse than the TSA in this case. You're being essentially raped by an entity, whether it's the government, whether it's an alien, whatever it is. If they're sticking stuff in you against your will, I know you can't rape the willing, but if you're getting probed by whatever entity it is, that's what you've been speaking about for decades is and having to relive it at every stop is your sexual assault. And now, granted, if you're making money at it, you've made that deal with yourself. I get it.
You're the one that's telling the story.
I get it, and I understand that. But still, that has to have a psychological effect on you at some point.
I'm just going to ask that you not bring that word up while he's sitting in front of us.
Thanks for that challenge, because now that Ron has put that one out there.
I really don't want you to use that word with him.
How long has he known me?
I will. Don't worry about it.
How is it? I'm going to ask Beth Enot, who happens to be sitting here in the room. And, what's the best way to get me to do something?
Ask you not to do it.
Okay.
No, tell you not to do it. I asked you not to do it.
I just.
So you've been there for 2 or 3 days now.
Yep.
You've wandered around. You've covered. Have you gone out to the bottomless pit lake or whatever they call it out there?
We've driven. Park? We're going to that later with the bottomless pit. Oh, you're like Beth is listening, but she got a
little bit of a delay.
How much of a delay are you hearing us talk about rape now? Okay. Great.
Well, look, you could pull these over there and wear them. It'd be great.
Anyway, the bottomless pit lake. We're taking a look at that lahave right? So we won't. We weren't, but we're going to now.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Thank you, Jeffy.
I just wondered have you been there? There's other events going on throughout the.
You see one bottomless pit lake.
I know. I have seen many lakes before, and I don't know how you tell that it's bottomless.
That's a good question. When I growing up in Lancaster, California, with over between Lancaster and Palmdale, there's a little lake that sits next to the road that when we were growing up, the legend was it was a bottomless pit, and that it was always a few years ago, but before we lived here, a trucker had come around the curve in an 18-wheeler had lost control of his truck and plunged
Never to be seen
into,
again.
Yes, exactly. And they sent roving cameras down, and they tried to, and they could never reach the bottom.
Okay.
Never got to the bottom.
Oh.
Never found a trucker. Nothing. Zip, zero, zilch, nada.
He went through, and he's in China right
It
now.
absolutely could be.
As far as
or
I know, I mean, I grew up in the Great Lake state of Michigan, and I guess there's a bottom to them,
but you don't know.
well, we do know that Superior there's a bottom because we find ships.
Well,
the bottom there.
and the lake, it is said, never gives up her dead when the skies of November
Yeah.
turn gloomy. And
Great Lake they call Gitchigumi.
thank you. But you can't even go near the Edmund Fitzgerald. I mean, if you try to dive near the Edmund Fitzgerald, they will arrest you. And yes,
Really?
Yeah, they do not want people effing with that place at all.
That's
Jeffy,
true.
you got an image. You want to talk about the image today?
Is that true? The Edmund Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
Because they're finding shipwrecks all the time.
No, but just the Edmund Fitzgerald. They don't. You can't dive on the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Okay.
It's
Okay. If you say so, Brad.
Look. It says it on the interweb. It has to be.
It was
true.
in Wikipedia. He saw it in Wikipedia.
Curtis
Okay.
says.
I mean, I don't doubt it. I just don't know that I do that.
Curtis says when they probe Ron, will they fix his wonky eye?
Probably not.
No, that's what they're testing.
It's a long way. It's a long way from the rectum to the eyeball.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll too.
Jeez.
Thank you. Classic ACDC coming at you this morning.
And Curtis also says you can't probe the willing. Boy, is that true.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you can't probe the willing.
There's
not a problem with it.
That's a good point. I hadn't really thought about it in those terms. Audrey says over in the Daily MoJo chat room, Travis' stories never changed. The stories from the men that were with him also never changed. I thought the one had, but again, it's not for me to say, and I had never heard that it had been challenged before, and who knows? I mean, there's always going to be somebody out there saying,
50 years worth of telling this story.
Right. Yeah. And Brando G says, Jeffy, what a nice surprise.
Aw,
Is it?
Ron's itching to show my picture, so we can talk about this a little bit. So years ago, when I was still doing radio in Tampa Bay, I talked to this guy, Brian Temmer, I think his name is, and Brian was all hell-bent on building a theme park in Roswell, New Mexico. And he had the name for it, the Alien Apex Resort, and this, his brother Kevin did this design. I think it was his brother. It might have been his boyfriend.
It says, original artwork by Kevin Temmer.
Yeah, but it might have been his boyfriend or his,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
husband or wife. I'm not sure. I don't want to judge. But Brian was all big on this, and I thought it was going to happen. They were saying that they were going to get started by like 2010, and they had 60 or 80 acres. They'd already had money allocated from Roswell. They needed the state's okay, and then it just went away. And I'm not sure what the heck happened. I want to know what happened to the theme park that was supposed to be built in Roswell, New Mexico.
Theme parks overall have not been doing well. And before I forget, because I am on a quest now to make sure I get in everything I say, according to a 2019 poll, 78% of Americans believe the moon landing was real.
All right. Yeah. So.
All right. So that leaves 22.
Yeah, that's what I said. About 25 would.
Yeah. Well, no, 5 to 10% of Americans believe it was a hoax. So you got the I don't know as well.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and I don't know. I'm technically.
You fall into that 15%.
Beats the hell out of me.
That is not true.
I lean.
You say you doubt the entire thing. When you answer that poll, you answer it correctly.
I'm pretty sure you're in the 5 to 10%.
I do doubt that we made it there the first time.
Yeah.
I think that's a very. Now, I'm sure somebody that's really, really smart and has more information than I do could refute that and might be able to convince me that we did make it there. But, who knows?
Well, that's the thing. That's just like I probably shouldn't even say it, but every time I watched different.
When's that ever stopped you?
That's a good point. Every time I've watched the 9/11 documentaries, depending on which view it goes on, That's the one I believe.
Yes.
I went, yep, it was a conspiracy. The whole thing came down, and then I watched the other one. I'm like, exactly, no, it was a terrorist attack.
See, Florida man in Alabama. It's not aliens. It's just Jeffy and chloroform.
Oh,
there's nothing
I
like
don't
a
know
good.
I'm supposed to be hurt or not.
Nothing like a good kidnapping. What's that? What do they call that when you put? It's not ether.
That's
Is it
chloroform.
ether?
Chloroform.
What's
chloroform.
ether? What's ether? Is it
Yeah.
ether?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's either that or the other.
I love it when people sit off to the side and start and say stuff and you can't hear.
I mean, I've offered the headset. I've offered the
microphone, even though it's right there.
She didn't want to mess up her hair.
Whatever.
Dude.
And then later we'll hear, you couldn't really hear the person off to the side. Yeah, no kidding. But ether, it's like when they pour it on the rag and they stick it over somebody,
shove it in your face,
right? And as soon as
pass
they
out,
right,
yeah,
and it takes like a second.
But that was for medical stuff, right? Well, chloroform, I guess, was too.
Right, but when if you're a good kidnapper, that's what you use. Because it knocks them out immediately.
What if you're just a bad kidnapper? You just
then you
drag them away and probe them. And
you eventually have to hit him over the head with a brick.
Okay, yeah.
Then you damage the goods, and it's Mind of Zos' what's ether? $20.
Same as downtown.
Is there a thing? Do you have a thing, Ron?
Yeah.
Where's your thing? You don't know because you didn't put a damn label on it, like I suggested.
No, I know where it's at. I just got to get over to it because if I don't. There you go. If I don't get over there.
Gee, that was worth it.
Okay, sorry, buddy. We do need to make a poll, though.
Well, we could do that right now and just say there's more from the International UFO Museum next.
Live from Roswell, New Mexico, the UFO capital of the world.
The Daily MoJo.
I'm sorry, I'm being paged from across the room. What's the... Peppers, that's right. Peppers are our go-to for food when we're here in Roswell because they are fabulous. It's a family-owned business here in Roswell, and they have been very kind. They have given us the goods. Ron's going to eat lunch there today.
Probably, yeah.
He just keeps snacking on it, and so we appreciate Peppers and all that they do. And they've been here for. They've only been here since 1990, which doesn't feel like that long ago, but it was 3.5 decades ago. They've been here since before dirt, almost before the aliens were here. Peppers was here. So if you're stopping in town, stop at Peppers and have some
Peppers
food.
Bar and Grill, because
that's what they do. They do food at Peppers. Yeah. Wouldn't you like, Jeffy? Wouldn't you like to have Peppers right now?
As a matter of fact, I would. Yeah.
They said if you stop by in there today, they'll give you lunch.
Wow, that's awful nice of them. I appreciate it.
Very, very nice of them. All you have to do is show up.
All I have to do is go.
You can share my gift card. I have a gift card, Jeffy. You can share my gift card with me. Come on.
Oh, cool.
I don't need yours. They said they were going to give it to me.
Renee is Renee. Hey, Renee. And Renee Martin has been
instrumental,
valuable.
In getting us here.
She would be what is known as the catalyst for this whole thing happening to begin with. So, Renee, appreciate you. Brian Timmer could not find an investor. He was the guy that was going to do the thing.
All right, but the state was going to invest some money in that as well, right? And so, I mean, at least.
Whoa, wait a minute! The state government let people down? That's weird.
Yeah, I know.
That's weird.
But if that makes sense, though, that the state would donate just very little, and then he couldn't get an investment for it, so it goes away.
City of Roswell was all in. Maybe
that's
Elon
what
Musk
I thought.
SpaceX
Yeah, they said they were gonna. They said they were gonna do it. They were all in.
Well, I'm sure, and the city of Roswell, let me just say, has been. I mean, they have done an incredible job because if it was, I mean, I look at Roswell. I kind of had an epiphany with regard to what Roswell is. It's like Marfa. It's a wonderful artist community, and this event that occurred, 80 years ago, whatever, 80 years, yeah. 80 years ago.
78.
78 years ago. It was, if not for that, I mean, Roswell would not have a signature. And it's been a wonderful opportunity for them to create, some mystique around the town and to have a theme. Because otherwise you're a city in the desert and basically in the middle of nowhere. And what do you do? What as a city? What do you do? It's a tough job, especially when downtowns across America. You go to a lot of downtowns and they've just shriveled up and died, and it's sad to see them go. The Main Street America, which is the heartbeat of this country, is really sad to see these downtown areas disappear. Roswell has done an incredible job of keeping it alive. I think it'd be kind of cool to live here.
It would be cool. I mean, everything is alien here, and that's it.
I say cool. It'd be hot.
No, it would. Yeah, it would.
See what I did there?
Yeah, but it's a dry heat.
I'd push the button that is the rim shot, but I don't know which one it is because they're not labeled.
There, it's this one.
Huh? Be darned. If it just said rim shot or just an R and an S on there, I'd be
right. But then it's not an R and an S when it's on a different page.
Oh, that's good. The alien ship technology was easier. And Jeffy could always ask his buddy Stu to invest. That's true. Stu could invest in the theme park here in Roswell.
Well, first of all, let's not assume that he's my buddy. Okay.
He's an associate. He's a coworker.
He's a colleague.
I barely like being in the same building with him. So
a colleague. But I was reading this morning that Six Flags is shutting down another of their parks.
Yeah, they're moving
in California.
Sorry. Yeah, but there's
they've shut one on the East Coast and now one in California.
Because the one on the East Coast, they were moving bits and pieces to here, bringing it to Texas. So it's always good when you have I just put it back together again. Oh, what is this for? Don't worry about it.
You know what they did with Opryland USA? They took it apart, and a lot of pieces never got put back together and ended up rotting in a field somewhere in Indiana. And who doesn't want to rot in a field in Indiana? First of all, I mean, that's
me, Chuck. Yeah.
Why am I queer for tennis?
Are they I don't know that I knew they were closing down the one Six Flags in California.
I just read that this morning. It's in Santa Clara. It's Six Flags. I don't know what it is, but it's in Santa Clara, and they're taking it apart.
I feel like not long ago they just got a new CEO, and he's trying to turn that thing around a little bit.
And so maybe they did.
Yeah, maybe this is it.
Maybe they did, and so theme parks maybe are not just doing that well overall. Okay. I don't know. And roller coasters, I know I was reading about roller coasters that you're not seeing really cool roller coasters being built anymore. It's like now, when was the last time you heard about the tallest, the baddest, the fastest, the most?
Every year, it's at Cedar Point, right? I mean,
it hasn't been for years that they've done like a really cool new one, from what I understand. I may be wrong. But that's what I was that apparently there is a shift away from those. I don't know where we're going to. I don't know if it's virtual reality is now taking over everything or what the deal is. But
that's very possible. But I feel like that's a long maybe.
But maybe theme parks are dying. Wouldn't that be sad?
Well, what part of the problem is that they all think that they're worth $1 million a day.
Yes.
We can get you into the park for $80 a ticket, but you're going to have to pay $500 to park.
Yep.
You have to pay $500 for food, and the rest of the day is $1 million. So we'll just get you to have a great day for just over $1 million.
Yeah, it's. I'm just for grins here. How much for a family of four to spend a week at Disneyland?
We're looking at a family of four.
A week.
Family of four, 8,000.
I bet it's 8 to 10. Yeah.
A week long, according to AI, a week long Disneyland trip for a family of four could range from $5,000 to $10,000 or more, depending on various factors.
That's ours. Was when we went to Disney World. We were there for 6.
Did you stay on property?
We did not. We stayed off property. We were there for 6 days, and it was a family of four, and it was just under $10,000.
Well, we have to be able to pay Audrey's salary out there.
Well, I was at Disney World,
but Audrey's worth it. I would if I could pay Audrey's salary. I'd pay.
If you spent that much and didn't stay on property? Did you have your own condominium building that you purchased?
No, we stayed in. It was an Airbnb. It was relatively inexpensive.
Yeah.
It was an Airbnb. But we didn't just go to Disney World. I mean, of course, all of that place in Florida, you got all the parks, right?
Yeah.
So you got park entrance fees, you've got, and you pay
money. That's why you
to
stay on property.
Skip the line. Yeah, but staying on property was so expensive, dude.
Mm-hmm. Did you go to Gatorland? Do not tell me you did not go to Gatorland.
I've been to Gatorland. No, I've been there.
Vaderland.
No, Gatorland. Trust me.
Gatorland.
You mean like Alligator Alcatraz?
No, we didn't go there.
Oh.
No, Gatorland.
Gatorland. No, you go to Gatorland. That's fun.
It's on the Kissimmee-Orlando border.
Yep.
Right? There's probably one of the best. I love that theme park so much.
Disney World for a family for anywhere from $6,000 to $15,000.
Yeah, family of four.
Highly variable resorts.
Is crazy.
Moderate resorts expect to pay $250 to $500 per night.
And you pay all that money to beat yourself silly walking.
Yep.
Walking is good for you.
Oh my gosh.
What?
That's why you get the. That's why you just get the power scooter.
The scooter. Yeah.
You used to go to the front of the line with those, and now they're starting to make the scooter people wait too. I don't like.
Yeah.
That.
What?
Yep.
We're making the cripples wait?
Yeah.
Yes, they shoot you off in a separate little room where a little AC in it, and they call you when it's your turn.
Okay. Well.
Oh no! Wait a second.
That's not too bad.
No, wait a minute. You getting some AC out of it for being crippled? Okay.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that actually might be worth being crippled.
You guys stand out here. I'll be inside.
Right, in the air conditioning. I think I'm liking that. Might actually be worth it. I was checking here because we're going to be at. I know they said they might be running a little late, but
yeah, she said they got hooked up in an interview somewhere. She was going to go try to get Dennis.
She got hooked up in an interview. Oh,
no, they got hooked up.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Dennis who?
Balthaser.
Balthazar.
How big is the museum that you're broadcasting from? How big
what would you say, Brad?
4-story house? Is it
No, it's a single story, but I would say it's probably 4,000 square feet.
It's an old movie theater.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh.
So it's an old single screen movie theater.
Yeah.
From on a downtown, and that's how big it is. And I have no idea how many square feet that is.
I would guess 3,500, 4,000.
More than that. Those movie theaters were bigger.
Oh, yeah, it's like 15.
Well, the museum itself,
15,
the museum itself is probably 3,000 square feet, 3,500. But then there are rooms in the back for employees and library and stuff.
Okay,
that's part
they
of
have
that.
An amazing library.
All right, here comes Walton.
I heard you mention the library. Is that can anyone go in the library?
I think so. I think if you visit the museum, and Travis and Jennifer actually just walked in. If you visit the museum, I think you are able to use the library.
Oh, nice.
I guess I'm actually not really sure, but I think we have to make a hole. We need to make a hole. Jeff, are you going to hang around for a bit? What's your plan?
Unless you kick me to the curb.
I would. Are you kidding? Not until I've used you up completely. And in which case, but I'll let you know when that happens.
We'll be right back.
But are we going to? So we need to make the hole here, and then we come back and we talk to Jennifer and Travis, right?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
All right. Here's your hole.
All right.
Nice. That's a good hole.
The Daily MoJo.
Live from Roswell, New Mexico.
Am I ready now? It is the Daily MoJo, Cheery DeFat, Saturday Morning Live, all wrapped into one this morning from Roswell, New Mexico, and the UFO Museum, the International UFO Museum and Research Facility, and it's been an incredible week. A legend, really, in the field of UFOs, and a man who has told an incredible story there. Hold on, why
that's because you have your
Aha. Well, now I don't have it. Travis Walton has just walked into the room. Sir, it is good to meet you. We've never met before. I'm Brad.
You?
It's we were listening to part of your story, and Jennifer Stein is here as well.
Jennifer, if you can take your seat and just kind of slide it around over by Travis.
Yes,
we've got a camera right over here, so we're trying to get you both in the shot. There you go.
But
that's actually perfect.
Oh, that's
Thank
perfect.
you so much. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You two have done this before. Travis, your story is amazing. It was for those who are unaware. Just briefly give us in 30 seconds what happened to you, Travis.
I was working with 7 other men on a logging crew back in 1975. We were on our way home. I got out of the truck to investigate a glow in the site of a UFO hovering near the road, and was hit by a blast of energy from the craft and taken aboard, and wasn't returned for 5 days.
Wow. And this has been 50 years ago, because this happened, 1975. You've had to relive this over and over. And I was just talking to these guys about the fact that essentially, I mean, the experience that you had on board that craft, you were being assaulted.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That was my perception of it, at least.
That's, by any standard, you were being assaulted. You were, and if you can you put those headphones on? Because Jeff is not here
That's fine.
Oh yeah, but I want to make sure if you say something, Jeff, that he can hear you as well. But you've had to retell this story of it's a sexual assault, is what it is. After, when you get right down into it, being probed, it's being assaulted.
Up close and personal.
Yeah, that's it. But my point being that it's traumatic.
Yes, it was very traumatic.
And you've had to retell this story for decades. How has that affected you?
Well, I think what was really helpful was the original hypnosis by Dr. James Harder. And his technique was to allow me to recall the incident as an observer rather than while it's happening, kind of a thing. And that really helped a lot. Otherwise, up to that point, I hadn't even been able to describe what had happened to my own family members.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And Jennifer, when I was saying that, you look like you disagreed with me, but and feel free. I mean, I'm just that's my perception, because I've heard your story over the years. I've been investigating UFOs for 30 plus years. I did a series on the Nashville Network back in the early 90s, and I've talked to a lot of people who have been abducted. I've just never really, until was watching your interview with Joe Rogan, and it just struck me watching you talk that was what, a man is having to recount this invasion of personal space, at the very least, repeatedly through the years, and how that affects you.
Sort of replicated the hypnosis technique there, is to sort of compartmentalize. When I talk about it and relate the events, I'm not actually going there so much. I guess you could call it that, but it's a place I never go except in an interview where I'm required to talk about it. I don't bring it up on my own.
Right. And you're a logger. Go ahead, Jennifer. You're about to
I was just going to say, Travis's case is not so much like a sexual experience as many UFO encounters are. His is quite unique. It's really much more of an ambulance rescue, bringing him back to life. He was probably killed by this beam that hit him, and it was probably an electrical discharge. It was probably accidental from this craft, which threw him a good 15 feet in the air. When he landed without any attempt to break his fall, the other loggers in the truck realized he's probably dead, and they were frightened for their lives and drove off.
Right.
So when he comes to on board the craft in our documentary called Travis, The True Story of Travis Walton, we go into a very specific, very clear point by point explanation of what he remembers when he wakes up aboard that craft, and there was nothing sexual about it. So I just wanted to clarify that.
And I'm glad you did, because that was my perception. Whenever you hear a story of an alien abduction and a probing, that's
well, he wasn't probed. He was brought back to life. There was no probing going on.
They saved your life, right? I mean, if you spent time in looking at it from a different perspective, did you watch them save you?
Yeah, it eventually dawned on me that had they wanted to harm me, and on top of that, disguise or cover up their appearance, I mean,
right.
The fact that they had been there, they could have just dumped my body somewhere.
Sure. Left you alone.
Where it wouldn't be found, and let the crew hang for murder and forever live under suspicion. And it would have been a case that died away very quickly. Oh, some loggers killed their coworker and dumped the body somewhere.
Or why wouldn't they just take you with them and dump you off in space and you would just disappear?
Yeah, and so the fact that they didn't, that they somehow repaired the damage that blast of energy did, to me suggests that the whole extension, the lengthening of that contact had to do with the fact that it was necessary to save my life.
So we've heard information in the last year, and specifically the last couple of months, where we've found out that the government is saying, yeah, a lot of that stuff is us. We just didn't want to tell you it's us. This is what we were working on this. Is it possible in your mind that you were dealing with other humans other than extraterrestrials?
Well, if that were true, it would be the most elaborate attempt to deceive me that you can possibly imagine. I've always sort of stuck to two different versions of the thing. My interpretation, my meaning that I perceive in it, and then just point by point what actually happened and what I can logically and reasonably conclude from what happened. But initially, it was this terrible attack, this blast of energy by these monsters.
Just go ahead and kick that brick out of the way there, if you would please, Jennifer. Sorry, we were hearing in the background, we just had R2-D2. Thank you. R2-D2 coming by. I did not mean to interrupt. I apologize. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with you though, Travis. I understand what you're saying. So I just find it. I mean, it's remarkable.
It really is. I mean, it's again in speaking to you and others who have gone through situations like this. Do you almost feel I guess debt of gratitude to them for saving you and.
Yeah, I have to admit that actually and take upon myself the blame for what happened just by being so foolish to get out and get close like that. I mean, immediately the crew were yelling at me and swearing at me for being so foolish.
But I bet you did what a guy would do. I mean,
it was impulsive.
That's what men generally do. Is we see something we run toward it most of the time, especially when that age.
When I got out of the truck to chase a bear that ran across the road. That's not the thing you ought to be doing.
Right. But it does make for a good story in the long run when you stop and think about it. So are you sorry that looking back, you sorry that you did what you did?
Absolutely. I wish I had stayed in the truck.
and lived a normal
life. Well, one of the guys on the crew was being chided by his girlfriend. How come you didn't get out of the truck?
Oh.
And he tells her, well, he says, it was mind control. The mind control was to, I overcame the mind control to make me get out. And
he could.
And Travis just could.
And I said, well, what if the real mind control was to stay in the truck and I'm the one that overcame
it? And there for a while, because you were gone for how many total days? 5. Yeah. 5 days. And they thought, there was word that the guys had killed you.
Yes, that was the story.
During the time.
My family was very hostile to them, suspecting them of having murdered me. My oldest brother was out there looking underneath the logging / piles that the crew had piled up, expecting to find pieces of my body after a little chainsaw dissection.
Right. What was the reasoning? I mean, why did they think they may have killed you? Just accidentally?
Well, it was, we weren't friends. This is not a group of buddies, I'd gotten a fight with one guy there that morning. He'd been in trouble with the law a little bit, time or two before, and I had a fight with him that morning in the parking lot behind Mike's house. And so, he was the number one suspect for having killed me, and nobody knew why my coworkers would, try to back up his story, but that was kind of the way it was going. Some of these guys had only been on the crew for 3 days, so it wasn't this cabal of co-conspirators.
Right.
They were also a little behind on the contract. It was November, and those contracts usually go from as soon as the snow melts, maybe April, till about November. And the idea is to gather the underbrush and gather dead wood, put it in piles, and burn it when there's snow on the ground so that it doesn't set the whole fire.
Makes sense.
The whole forest on fire. It's called timber stand improvement.
Right.
So they were on a deadline, and Mike was trying to bring other guys on the crew that they fit as many people as they could in that truck to go up there every day and work. Yeah. And they were working from sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
At that point.
That's hard work.
Long days, yeah.
Long days, hot, nasty work.
Yeah.
What the hell were you thinking?
Right.
You got that.
You brought this on yourself.
And Philip Klass, who was the major debunker on this story for 30 years, claimed that they were trying to get out of the contract by faking this UFO story. And in fact,
I'd forgotten about that one.
And it didn't make any sense at all, because if they faked this UFO story, they wouldn't get paid. If they didn't finish the contract, they didn't get paid. Right. So there was no logic to that scenario. But the public didn't know that. So they hear something and they think, they'll grab to anything to explain what they can't understand.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Well, he got some mileage out of that theory before a fan in Australia was able to obtain the FBI investigation of this guy. As editor of Aviation Week in Space Technology, he was under investigation by the FBI for having leaked or accessed defense-related information.
Whoops.
And the file, I got sent a sheaf of papers, a quarter of an inch thick, much of it blacked out. But one comment in there that I favor the most is they were quoting him and saying something like, it is apparent that author is not in full possession of his faculties. So the FBI wasn't impressed with him.
Wow.
They eventually turned their investigation of him over to the CIA, and that's when, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, I'll bet. Jennifer, how long have you been knowing Travis?
I actually met Travis here in Roswell in 2010. I was working with Peter Robbins as his assistant for the city of Roswell, the mayors at that point, who had were in charge of the whole city festival that was going on, separate from the museum. At that point, things were not quite so collaborative.
Right.
And I had dinner with Travis and Peter and a couple of other people, Ruben Uriarte, who's the state director for MUFON in Northern California. And we sat around and said, Travis, your story is as significant as the Roswell UFO story, and it's 20 years newer. It happened in 1975, not 1947. Why don't you have a conference, or why don't you do more to kind of educate people about your event? So Peter and I had put some conferences on together, worked at national MUFON symposiums as well. I had been a MUFON member already for 10 years, and had, since I was an event coordinator, gradually got pulled into running conferences and their national symposiums. So Peter and I started organizing a conference, and that's how I ended up getting involved in making this film. It was kind of through the back door. I didn't really set out starting to make a documentary, but I started to archive interviews with the living logging members, and then with Marlon Gillespie, who was the chief sheriff at the time, and Deputy Chuck Ellison, who I realized was still alive. So I tracked him down, shot an interview with him, and also Cy Gilson, who was the Arizona State polygraph expert, because I felt that their personal testimonies were very important. And then gradually I ended up producing, for the 40th anniversary of the Travis Walton experience, a award-winning documentary film called Travis, The True Story of Travis Walton. And the website for the film is traviswaltonthemovie.com.
Okay.
So people can go there and learn more about it. And there's lots of free footage up there on that website, because this story has been attacked and debunked for, almost 50 years now. And when you read Travis's book, 1/3 of his book deals with the ongoing attacks and debunking that have happened, since day one. So I felt that it was important to address that in the film, and I've dedicated the website to address that now ongoing, because it's kind of stepped up since ATIP and since Luis Elizondo has come forward, and since now the UFO subject is a little more out of the box. The debunking on Travis's case.
I keep objecting to the term debunking.
Debunking, yeah. Disinformation.
You can call them skeptics,
Right.
Deniers, whatever. But debunker means they are some bunk to remove.
Right,
and,
yes.
Right.
They're the only ones having any bunk to discuss.
How does it make you feel when people try to come up to you and say that your story is faked or it's not real? I mean, does it get your hackles up?
I think people instinctively know that would be unwise. People don't come up to me. These are ambush interviews. These are things that I see in the media from somewhere else, and the skeptics who have attempted things have wound up discrediting themselves, saying things that are proven to be false, flat out lies.
Right.
For what reason, though? It's just incredible.
Well, that's a good question. Are they paid for?
Yeah.
Jealousy.
Or is this just one more way to get attention? If you can't jump on board on the positive side, jump on board on the negative side. I don't know what they're. But
there was a 20-year period between when this happened and in 1994, Fire in the Sky. That was 94, right? So you got 20, and were there TV movies in between there? Were there other films?
Oh, there's been other lengthy reports, but
Fire in the Sky was the big one.
Yeah, that was the theatrical Paramount movie.
Yeah.
Right.
But I hope everybody understands that Hollywood doesn't make documentaries; they make entertainment.
Sure. No,
So
Wait, what?
There's there's always a spin. So there's some stuff in there, like what's the biggest thing in Fire in the Sky that isn't?
Well, the entire segment aboard the craft was something that wasn't in the script that I received. They knew I wasn't going to like how far off they had gotten. It serves the purpose of putting the audience through the grip of fear that we went through at the time.
Okay.
But and there's other things that you could excuse symbolically. The membrane over the actor's face, struggling to scream, struggling to breathe through it. There was no membrane. I didn't experience that. But that feeling of suffocation is something that is best communicated visually with the membrane over the face.
Right.
But I felt like I couldn't breathe in what actually happened. I felt like I was suffocating. Now, what's the source of my panic, other than having the actor panting and...
There's a metaphorical membrane.
Yeah.
Hollywood. Yeah. And they did, they with everything they do, they put a spin on it just to make it exciting for the public.
And sometimes it's just an attempt to simplify and be more direct. There were 7 of us out there, and they shrank the crew to 5.
Right.
Cut out a couple of members. That's just more complexity for the audience, so they simplify it.
But did they get the some of the other characters were conglomerations, or I guess amalgams of, is that the right word? I'm trying to use a big word, which I probably shouldn't.
Composite characters.
Thank you very much. Composite. So that's what they did. They just took some of the attributes of those other guys and molded them into a different.
Yeah.
But with the Travis documentary, this is all nothing but the facts, ma'am.
Correct. Correct. Nothing but the facts. And I interviewed all the key witnesses that were involved, and we're very glad we did, because we no longer have Deputy Ellison alive, or Marlon Gillespie, or Cy Gilson. They have all passed since now. And we've also lost John Goulet just in the last year. So archiving these firsthand experiences, I think, is really significant and important. And maybe in honor of John Goulet, I'll post his whole entire interview up online. It's something I could do.
Do you think we're ever going to get full? I don't even know what full disclosure is anymore from the government.
I have an opinion on that. It is probably not very popular. People think we can demand from the government that they throw open the files, and I'm saying, well, maybe that wouldn't be very wise.
Why?
If we have recovered advanced technology,
wouldn't
our military enemies love for us to throw open our files while they keep theirs secret? And they've also recovered technology.
Other governments, you mean?
Yes, the Chinese, the Russians. They don't know what we have. We don't know what they have. And it may actually constitute a safety valve for the entire world, them not knowing what technology we have and us not knowing what technology they have. If we were to throw open the books and they say, this is what we got and it's only worth this much, that might trigger something. Oh, okay, now we can move forward with confidence. At this point, it may serve as a sort of a cautionary situation in both directions.
So you're happy with kind of the status quo of things as they are?
I wouldn't say I'm happy with it, but I can't say I would jump on board and demand that they throw open the books, because
which would be, using your logic, then the slow leak of information that we seem to be getting.
I think the government realized that trying to discredit witnesses wasn't working. It was only discrediting themselves.
I don't know about that.
Only wackos do this. So they decided to concede here a while back. It was late on a late news day on Friday. They say, oh, okay, here's the gun camera footage from an Air Force jet citing something that isn't ours. It's advanced technology. It's not our enemies, and we don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. To say that was a switch. They're acknowledging there's something there. But it dropped like a bomb.
Yeah.
It didn't. And by Monday, people were, what? They expected some huge reaction. So this grand revelation was actually repeated twice, where they said the government is finally revealing that they know something. They showed the same military footage, maybe a few extra points, and again, late on a Friday news day, and not much reaction. It's like the public was saying, so what else is new?
Mm-hmm. Right. It seems to be the way with the news cycle. Jeff and I and Ron talk about this all the time. The fact that news is so boom, boom, boom. And there's a big story one day on a Wednesday, and by Friday it's moved on. You don't hear, like the drone thing from late last year. Yeah, was that October? And then the drones, they're here, then they're gone.
They fire up again on Monday, and people say, "No, what's new? Not nothing about that gun camera footage. That's amazing stuff." But, it didn't get much attention.
Well, I will add that I think that December 16th, 2017 certainly was a delineating point in time, because news media had not taken the subject seriously, and now it is addressed in a more serious way. You don't have the background, do-do-do-do music playing in the background, or a laughter curtain thrown over a story. So even though there's skepticism, which I think is important, and we should be skeptical about this subject, it's quite a difficult one for a lot of people to wrap their brain around. And for many people, not necessarily just Travis, but many people, it is a very traumatic experience, certainly if there's some sort of loss of time, loss of memory, abduction, or other weird experiences going on. But we have to begin to start to address the subject somewhere. I mean, gosh, we live in Arizona, and we've just opened the James Webb Telescope.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot look out now in the night sky and not realize there are millions and millions of stars with small rocky planets circling around them, and the likelihood that life exists out there is huge. And I think we begin to address the idea that, or we should begin to address the idea that, what do we want, or what do we think as, humans on this planet, the idea of encountering other intelligence? At some point it's likely to happen, because it's unlikely we're the only intelligence in the universe.
I completely
and
agree.
When we get to that step, the more we have digested that concept, and the more we have tried to maybe come up with what we feel is our, point of initiation, or how we want to have that dialogue go, or that interaction go. Who speaks for the Earth?
Well, the news
Well,
media
the
might
United States of
love-
America speaks for Earth. Well,
they might love to emphasize the possible threat implied by that. And, officially, our government agencies really have no justifiable comment, except in terms of
right.
possible military response to such a thing. But
Right.
truth is, it's been going on for so many decades that if they intended to remove all the humans and take over the planet, we'd never know what hit us.
Right. It seems like they would have done it too by now.
You're not going to see our jets executing dogfights in the sky with UFOs. It's
Well, we saw that in Independence Day, and it didn't end well for
no,
us.
you're not going to see that. We'd never know what hit us.
Right.
We just wouldn't wake up the next day. So the fact that this has been going on for decades and decades is almost proof that they don't have bad intentions.
And
because
I will add to that too. I think it's a very important point that we digest the fact that there's being a sort of a threat narrative since December 16th, 2017. That's what ATIP sort of stood for, right? Aerial Threat Identification Program. So is there a new meme or a new agenda that's being propagated on the general public? Is this now coming out and being accepted by the media because there's a plan afloat for a threat narrative that they're going to, try to sell us?
Doesn't sound like you trust them.
Well, I think we all need to be very, very skeptical, and we all need to do our own research and
Absolutely.
really digest that. In fact, Werner
von Braun?
Yes, thank you.
That guy.
He actually told Carol Rosin years ago when they worked together that there would be a threat narrative, and this would be a way to unite the world together.
Well, even if the aliens themselves don't pose a threat, any recovered technology is potentially can be weaponized.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And the military can only justify commenting in terms of their job as in terms of safety. But like I said, the fact that it's gone so long without any such threat or justification for that.
My thought is that we've got two shots. Yellowstone erupts, or we're attacked by Mars or some other planet that brings us all together, that causes us to fall into what I call the Star Trek universe, which is the United
one
Federation
world,
of Planets. Yeah. See, right now, none of us are going to trust any of the other governments at this point. This is not going to happen until we have an outside threat. Once we have that outside threat, then that might coalesce us to be trusting
that
each
could
other.
be a unifying hoax by the governments.
Could be.
To justify massive.
You don't trust anybody either. Good grief, none of us trust anybody.
And what about a virus, right? That could be a unifying thing. And was that a real threat, or was that a manipulation?
It certainly wasn't unifying.
Well,
No,
the
no, it wasn't.
the governments have got a lot of catching up to do. The
Yeah.
public are not going to buy stories like that.
No, you're absolutely right. All right, the website one more time, Jennifer, is
Well, there's several.
right.
TravisWalton.com, you can buy
right.
his book. If you want to learn more about the documentary, you can find it on Travis's website. You can also find it on TravisWaltonTheMovie.com.
okay.
And since this is the 50th anniversary, coming up. We have several events happening to really honor and recognize Travis. There's 3 different events. One is a conference happening in Sedona, sponsored by Sedona MUFON. So that's sedonamufon.org.
Okay.
And the name of the conference is Skyfire Summit. It will be a very small, unique, and intimate conference. There's only 165 seats available in this venue. So people who show up are people who want to be there. There are people who want to have up close and personal contact with some of these key speakers. Don Smith will be there. David Childress will be there. Ron James and I will be screening Accidental Truth, which is a new high-powered documentary that's been out, winning a lot of awards about secrecy to transparency, what's been going on since 2017. So it's a good, quick overview education of what's happened since 1947 to today. We'll also be ending that conference participating with the New Paradigm Institute, run by Danny Sheehan, and we will be one of the watch parties that will have comments, and we'll be honoring Travis around the world on that program. That'll be a Zoom program on Monday morning. Then on the actual day, on November 5th, we'll be screening the film twice at the Sedona Film Festival. Wow. So people can come there and meet Travis. We'll be doing Q&A after the documentary screens. And on November 8th, Saturday, the following Saturday this year, we'll be at Phoenix MUFON at the Arizona Historical Society. And we will also be screening the film, doing Q&A, and having a banquet dinner there.
What do you do in your spare time? You got a lot of love coming down on you.
Well, I'm running out of spare time. I'm thinking about cutting back.
Aren't we all? Aren't we all?
Okay, before we let you go, though, Jennifer, you said something in passing in your story about how you came to know Travis, that you were here in Roswell in 2010, 2009, 2008. You know what happened to my theme park. Why don't you have a theme park in this city? What is happening?
What was the name of it, Jeff? What was it supposed to be called? Apex something?
Yeah,
Apex.
Alien Apex.
Yeah. Do you recall that?
Well, maybe that's
Roswell
still yet,
is a theme park.
Yeah, maybe that's still yet to happen. Yeah, I mean, just driving around the city, it's amazing. You know, you just don't see 7 aliens outside of the car wash, saying, "Come on in."
That's true.
There's no place like it.
There really isn't. I've said more than once, I could live here.
Yeah.
I could live here. It's nice and quiet. Thank you both. Really
Thank you for
appreciate it.
having us.
Thank you for having us.
Anytime. It has been a true pleasure. Travis Walton and Jennifer Stein. And y'all, do you have a presentation today? Are you all?
Yesterday and tomorrow. And we've been on panels as well here.
And you've got the booth back here too.
Yes, and it's a presentation called the 50-Year Retrospective, and we're sharing little film clips of Travis on the news for the last 50 years.
All right, excellent.
Oh, awesome.
Appreciate your time. Cool. We're good, Beth. I didn't know. I don't know what's coming up next, so she can't hear what I'm saying.
No,
She's
we'll
like
we'll just make a hole real quick.
Oh, okay. We'll make a hole and then we'll be back. So, y'all, appreciate it.
Live from Roswell, New Mexico, the UFO capital of the world.
The Daily MoJo. The Daily MoJo.
Live from Roswell, New Mexico.
All right. Never a dull moment here in Roswell, New Mexico. Let's see if we've got, let me check the. Frank in Pennsylvania, picturing a giant ass defending over the Devil's Cauldron, Ron manning a fire hose to give the Biden bidet treatment. That's what I walked into after all of that?
I have no idea.
The mind is though, so it was 5 real days or was it lost time? It was 5 real days. I know that.
Yeah.
And they were singing, when the log rolls over, we will die, die, die. At least 10 G's for a week at Disney. So that listening to him, and first of all, I'm glad that I got I stand corrected on the probing thing. So that was I guess a miscalculation or a misnomer or a misremembrance in my brain.
But you went there anyway.
Well, because I think it's a legit question.
You had to.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that it wasn't an abduction probing either.
Exactly, because
it was a
and I've seen fire in the sky.
Yeah.
Life-saving.
It was a life-saving, yeah.
Yeah.
If you put those on, you can actually hear Jeff talking.
I think that was a.
Do not do that. Do not have
Who do we have? Do we have somebody scheduled to talk to again?
Dennis would be the last one.
That's what she's
But
talking
he's talking now till 11:30.
Okay.
So
Okay.
See, that's the problem with doing it live. Is I don't know what's going on, and I have no way of stopping.
Well, in this particular
hey, don't try to
case,
make excuses.
on these trips.
I want to hear excuses.
It's live is live, brother. That's the way it works.
Hold on a second. Let me write that
I
down.
had Dennis here. Did y'all see that?
Live.
Yes,
Hold on a
yeah,
second.
because you didn't know they were going to walk
No, because
in.
they were still in the interview
Yeah.
when I went back
Hold
over
on.
there.
Hello. Say that one more time.
Live is live.
Live is live, brother.
Live
yeah, you got to
is
add the brother.
Live brother. Hashtag the Brad
He's
life.
been. Oh my
There
God!
you
Why
go.
you added? Oh, okay.
There you go.
What?
The Brad life didn't say that.
No, but
The Ron life did.
right, but the Brad life takes
Credit, apparently.
credit, and we like to refer to it as inspiration.
Inspiration. Oh, okay.
From all other sources.
Well, I'll sell it to you.
Too late.
Yep.
Too late.
I've already put it out there in the known universe.
Well.
It's the hashtag. Good luck to you though
Yeah,
in the industry,
appreciate it, yes.
wherever the industry end up in.
So
I'm fascinated. I don't know that I know the entire Travis story. So
Well, apparently none of us do. I guess
Right.
because
Yeah.
Jeffy, if you were to come here to the International UFO Museum, there is
and
display on
research
the wall.
facility.
There's
and
a
research
whole
facility.
discussion about
There
it.
is a whole thing on the wall about it.
Yeah. And I remember watching Fire in the Sky. And
But that's been a long. Wasn't
that's
that?
that's 30 years
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
That was the movie, and it was 20 years
didn't
before that.
Sweeney play him in the movie?
Was he the guy that jumped out of the plane with a knapsack full of money?
Yeah, but this is the actor D.B. Sweeney.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ah.
I think he did, didn't he, Jeff?
He was in Cutting Edge. That's all that matters.
Yeah, yeah.
What's Cutting Edge?
You know,
Is that
That's the
this
ice
Tanya
skating
Harding?
movie?
I was going to say
Yeah.
is that the Tanya
Yeah.
Harding movie. Is that what that was?
it's not the Tanya Hardy movie. It's just an ice skating movie.
Ice skating movie.
Yeah.
What other ice
Mouths
skating
to be
movie?
closed, ears to be open.
Wow. Do you get that often? Do you get that often? Because you should. I'm just saying.
That was the Russian coach. Mouths to be closed, ears to be open.
If you see me mowing the lawn, just shoot me.
Okay, I'm leaving and going to buy purple aliens.
Back of
now,
the
so I'll
head.
see y'all in a bit.
Love you.
Florida man in Alabama wants to know, will Jeffy give the audience an update on the Wimbledon championships? We know Brad is dying to talk about tennis.
I will not. I don't have them in front of me. I can. I'm happy to.
No.
I just want to know how Opelka's doing. Is he still in it?
This is the first year that they're using. They're not using humans as line judges, and I am interested and fascinated to read about how that works out for them, because I always wanted to be a line judge. That's a job that I always wanted. Oh,
Get hit by the tennis ball? On an ace.
absolutely! You just look at them. Look at when they turn to you and look. You just put the arm down.
Do y'all remember
put the arm down? I love that.
The ball boy this has been a few years ago, but he goes up and he grabs the ball, he turns around, runs back to his spot, but he slips and smashes
right into the
face
wall.
first
Yeah.
into the wall, makes this big clattering,
and then stands up and goes.
and stands up. But everybody turned to look at it.
Yeah, you have to.
It sounded like a truck hit the wall.
It didn't matter. Now, he paid for it that night, but not
He stood up and regained his composure
That's right,
rapidly.
right.
That was so funny.
That was the
job.
funniest things I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, drilled into him, man.
And all I had to do was ball boy slams, and then it filled in the rest.
I
That
will
was
say that I just typed in ball boy slams, and it's not that.
it's not the same thing.
So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the algorithm means, but
Do you want to feel? Do you know when that was, Ron?
well, since you're gonna look like that, probably what 05?
2016. Here we go.
Oh wow, newer than I thought. Oh. Oh! I mean, that hurts every time you see it.
It just, and one more time, it just
every time. Every time you see it. Holy
yeah,
cow.
and the kid who ran face first into the wall.
Yeah, nobody even knows who he is. I mean,
you know what?
That could run 1,000,000 times, and no one knows who he is. You know what I mean?
Who was it?
His grandkids will be playing this video. You know,
Yeah,
that's my pawpaw right there.
Anybody can say that now. Yeah, that was me.
That was Barcelona. Barcelona 2016. And the comments, how many times have you watched this? Me. Yes. But anyway, so the Travis Walton thing, again, that is the most. And Jennifer, it was interesting watching her face, because when I was bringing that up, she was like,
yeah, she was trying to shut you down.
She was.
Yeah.
I will not be shut down, good madam. That's what. I don't even. What do we want to talk about next? I don't even know. Did you bring anything to the table? That'd be you, Jeff.
Are you
not Ron, because I know Ron didn't.
I didn't.
Things to the table. I've already given you how much content for this.
You give and you give and you give.
You want more?
There was
more from me.
I know there was an alien costume contest.
That's what I was just about to say. Let's talk about some of the alien costumes.
Do we have pictures?
We probably do have photos, but they're not available.
Not take pictures and provide them for the show.
Well, we were trying not to be obvious by staring, because some of them would.
What's all about?
Some of them look like they would hurt you really bad.
I'm not going to say that kink comes out.
Oh yes, it does.
But
isn't that all cosplay?
You know, it is.
Kind of, yeah. Kind of is, yeah.
I mean, that's why you go to Comic-Con.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but the costumes were just. We didn't see a ton of them, but the ones we did see were pretty good. We did see the guys from what's the movie? Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Yeah, Dark Helmet.
We saw Dark Helmet in the two white dressed ones. Yeah.
Wow.
They were.
You racist.
Well, I don't know what they're called.
The white dressed ones?
The ones with the round helmet on. But Dark Helmet was there. Let's see. We did see. What color was the alien sitting in the floor?
White. She was from Spaceballs, right? I believe so.
The one that was sitting in the floor over here?
I think so.
Oh,
yes.
really?
Yeah. I think that was. Hang on, I'm looking to see if I can find any from 2025 on Insta, because we don't have any of them.
At the ready.
At the ready.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, she's kind of. I don't know what that is, but that was a few weeks ago. Although you can take that one. I mean, but that was kind of the same. Did you take that shot?
No, I can.
That's what I just said. You can take that.
I'm sorry. I'm working.
Right. So that's kind of what we were looking at. I mean, sort of without the attitude, ish. But it's
I thought it was an alien.
Well, she's kind of an alien-looking woman.
Not really.
There you go. There's two right there. And that was posted 2 minutes ago. Okay. So we are actually the first ones to be.
So they actually may be wandering into the museum soon.
It's absolutely possible that they could be.
You should stop and bring them in. Bring them in if they walk by.
They could win a prize. There's another one.
See, I'm sorry.
What? You don't think that's a costume?
It's not.
I mean,
it's not a costume.
I mean, granted, that is 6 years ago, and it's ice cream, but it did catch my eye. All right, here we go. Here's 16 hours ago, and actually, we were in this. This is an art store right down the street, and they were doing the face painting there at the art store. And I think I saw this dude.
I kind of like the face painting thing.
Some of the face paint was fantastic.
Yeah, I kind of like that a lot. What's the coolest? Okay, so you've been here, and now you've seen most of the stuff, and you've probably gone through all the trinket stores and everything. What's the coolest trinket that you thought, ooh, I could actually have that?
Well, first in the gift shop there, I did not know there were so many ways you could put an alien face on something. Now there are lights,
All
there
kinds of
are
products,
there are hats, there are the little ears that pop up and swing around. This thing that is on the screen right now is an actual space. It's not for sale, but somebody has taken a 1981 Geo Metro and turned it into a spaceship.
Geo Metro.
I know it's like a car, but it's not. But it probably gets better mileage as it's in its new form as a UFO, and the thing runs. There's a Geo Metro up underneath there.
Okay.
Oh, look, there's a bar. Someone's having a drink.
So, but you wouldn't own that. I'm talking about the little trinket that you'd say, man, that looks really cool. I've not seen one of those.
But I bet you if you walked up and offered them $10,000 for that, they'd take it. So you could, in fact, own it.
No way.
Sure.
No way.
Why not?
No, he's not selling that for $10,000.
Have not seen that room. Don't know that guy. Okay, where the hell is this?
Right, where's that?
Where is this? How come I can't?
Your picture being
That's a
there?
good question. Where is that? I have no
Where
idea.
is this? Beth, producer extraordinaire of.
I don't think that's in here.
It has to be somewhere because this is a dude laying down on a table being probed.
It does have to be somewhere.
It does have to be somewhere.
I know that. I got it.
That should be here.
You should have your picture with that.
I know. I'm trying to. I could be sitting there in the backyard. I don't know where these people are. These people even in Roswell? Look at this. They're sitting there with a little alien. They're in an alien phone booth.
How come you don't? Where is this place?
That's a good question. I would like to. This is at Trek Star. I bet this is at Galacticon.
Oh, it could be.
But it doesn't say anything about Galacticon.
No,
it says UFO
Roswell.
Festival.
Yeah.
Well, but the UFO Festival is the whole place, is the whole city.
Right, but you got Galacticon going on at the same time. Oh, is that the good?
Is that there? Is that in Roswell? Galacticon?
Yeah. There's
okay.
Yeah, it's happening here too. And these are this is just the these are all of the photos that are tagged with Galactic. Like this is only 6 weeks ago. They didn't have the festival last year because let's see, was it last year they didn't because Beth, what was the?
Are they whining about the flooding still?
The flooding was in October, and it tore out like the whole center part of downtown. It was nasty, and to the point where they think they might have to tear down the whole convention center.
Well,
because it got wet. So yeah. But this is but they've had a big crowd here, at least the past and today is no different. I mean, there's a lot of people coming in and out.
When you say big crowd,
hundreds, thousands. I'm horrible at guessing crowd sizes, but they.
I would say a few thousand. Are you talking about in the
whole thing?
Oh, the whole thing, yeah.
And we've had hundreds and hundreds come through the museum.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday it was so packed in here. Yesterday it was tough to walk around without bumping into people. So
yeah, you can see when a lot of times your one camera shot there with the window, behind the guest.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was really busy. Yeah.
And that's
really
just
busy.
the lobby area.
And then I try to walk around and people stop me and they want my autograph, and it really
do they? Okay.
It's exhausting.
We signed a little book yesterday.
We did sign a little book. She came in and she said,
"Was that the book that you have to sign when you buy a ticket to get in?"
No, sir. No, sir. She walked in and she said, "Hey guys, would you mind signing my little book?" No, not a problem. She handed us a book, Jeff.
It was
1 inch by 1 inch. 1 inch by 1 inch. And I'm like, "Where would you like me to sign your little book?" She says, "Well, I've got a lot of signatures in there." And sure as crap, she had a whole bunch of pages of people signed. So I brought it up here and
signed my little book.
Signed my little book. Was it okay to sign on the same page as someone else? Or?
No, there was no room.
Yeah, you could not. You couldn't do that.
You got your own page, and then of course it was on a chain, and she put it right back around her neck, and it was just hanging there.
That's her little book.
That's her little book.
Yeah. I wonder how many little books she has.
Oh, there's no telling.
That's a really good question.
Because I remember as a kid, I remember having an autograph book that I got from like Major League Baseball or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think I had, one.
People
two.
don't do that anymore.
Maybe two. I remember I had more than one, actually. That's just a joke. But it was baseball players, because it was given to me from Major League Baseball as a kid. I wasn't going to let other people sign it. So I wonder how many little books this lady has. If she's going around asking all kinds of celebrities, then she's got to have multiple little books, right?
You would think. And and I asked her because she works here at the museum, and I said it has to be kind of cool to come into work here every day. And she said it is awesome.
Took a car to Firestone, and then I haven't seen her.
Sorry, do you got a bigger name on the other line?
I do. Could you hear that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, when you hit the button that says mute, you have to hit the button.
Hold on. You should not be able to. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Then I'm not talking through this microphone on air.
I don't guess so.
The settings said I was.
No, I guess you're not.
Settings said I was.
You might want to double check those settings. You sound just as good as you always do.
Yeah, you sound good.
You sound he's a great. I would go so far as to say you sound amazing.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay,
hold on. There you.
No, you
There
can't
you
hear
go.
me there with that, can you?
No.
Wow,
So
I should have done that way earlier.
No, I bet it sounded good because you're close enough to the other mic that it didn't have a lot of room noise.
Except when you play it back, you'll notice.
Oh.
when you listen on
now
real
now you're talking through a mesh hat.
At least, but that's bad.
What is your hat, Jeff? What is your hat?
Space Force.
Oh man,
What are you talking about? What
Sorry.
is my hat?
it's United States Space Force. Oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you.
I got to get me one of those.
They had a 10K, a 5 and a 10K run walk this morning. One of the gentlemen that we spoke with yesterday, Keith, what's Keith's last name? I can't remember. But Keith Sealand. From Humaniverse. He ran in the 5K this morning, and I ran last night, so I've already got my run.
Brad did run last night.
Had to run away from
But
people.
you didn't run in the.
He didn't run in.
I did not run
in
the 5 or 10K because
his was like about a 0.5K, I think.
This is the 29th UFO Festival here in Roswell, the 78th anniversary. It is. Why didn't they do it last year? Now I can't.
There was something. Didn't they? They had it done down at the convention center last year, right? They didn't do it here the last 2 years, I think.
Oh,
but
wow.
the reason it's here this year is because of all the flooding that Roswell experienced that is basically going to take out several major buildings in the city.
The Roswell UFO Festival did not occur in 2024. It was previously run by the city, but the city decided to hand over the organization to Main Street Roswell and other local groups.
Yeah.
So you see they've been going through some
changes.
And what do you want to bet there's been a little fighting behind the scenes?
Absolutely. Fine. Who's
it's a
paying for
moneymaker. It is a moneymaker.
Yeah, is it though? Is it a moneymaker? Yeah, is it? Yeah, I don't know.
I would think it is, at least for this place.
Okay, but that's the problem. Do you think that the city of Roswell is going to hand over something to somebody that's a moneymaker? The answer would be no.
Maybe it was a moneymaker, but it was more of a pain in the butt than it made money.
But here's the thing: it has such potential. It could be done, and it is being done well. But it has such potential. I want to see it do well. I want to see this town do well because I just like this town.
Well, Brad, when you move there and become the full-time janitor at the museum, you'll be able to assist in their yearly UFO Fest activities and designing and get everything.
I have to be looking forward to the next phase of my career. If you're not planning ahead, you're wilting on the vine, dying on the vine.
Get them to set you up with a little microphone studio inside a spaceship, and you just do a show from there every day from the International UFO Museum.
That would be cool.
That is not a dumb idea. What are you going to do for the rest of your time?
That I'm here?
No. I mean, when I leave and I come down here, what are you going to do?
Well, that sucks.
I'm gonna have to get new banners made. Get your face off these things.
Hell, can't I come with you?
Oh, I think that's obvious. Or you know what? I just gotta. I just got a bit of an alien face and stick it over that.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
You do a
And
show
get an
daily
alien
with
face.
that person.
Mel
That thing.
Mel Gort will be my new what's your name?
Nothing.
Okay. Nothing. We'll take over for nothing. So anyway, the groups overseeing the event this year with support from the city, festival still happening, marking the 78th anniversary. So I think that we may have stumbled into a
little infighting.
A little infighting.
I bet you it's
Wait till her significant other stands up.
Oh, are we?
Oh yeah. That means
we see a couple of contests. Yes, we see
that
a
means
couple of
that
entrances.
he was coaxed into it.
Yeah. Yep. A couple of the. Boy, he does not look happy, does he? He does not.
Is that your
look
next
happy.
guest? Is that the guest?
No,
we're
it's
waiting
just
on?
a couple of
Costumes,
contests.
yeah.
Which obviously were her idea. And
Get him over here. Tell him to come over.
Look, we have more. Oh,
the
that's
tinfoil
brilliant.
hat.
More tinfoil hats.
We did have a family yesterday of tinfoil hat wearers, and they all had very nice tinfoil hats.
You know, Bethy, if you did what you did yesterday, I could leave your mic on and you could interview them. Just ask them where they're from.
Well, we've only got a
we
few
only have a
more
few
minutes,
minutes.
and then we're going to talk to Dennis here. I mean, you're welcome to hang around, Jeff, or you don't have to because it's.
Well, they won't. We won't have time.
I know
if you bring them back here.
It's getting late in the day
okay.
for you, and I know you have to drink your Ensure and
Kick
get.
me to the curb. Okay, fine.
No, you don't have to. You can absolutely hang around.
Hey,
till
but
tired.
it is good to see you, Jeffy.
Oh, it's good to be seen.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you're having a good time in Roswell.
And
I don't expect a gift, but it'd be nice to get one.
Oh, then we'll go ahead and tell them to cancel the shipment. Then I didn't realize that you didn't.
I mean, no, I'll
want it,
accept
and
it.
if that's the
accept
case,
it.
then
fine. I just
no, it's all right.
I even tried to ask if you'd seen something that you really wanted. And,
well, I get. The thing is,
said, look at this. Look at this stupid old car. That's not what I'm talking about.
Well, I did go through the gift shop, and I'm trying to think. I'm so jaded. The most exciting thing that when we went through a little shop across the street because it was a sweet shop, and we got these. I'm looking over at them now because we haven't opened them yet, and I don't know why. We have the pickled soda,
That's really cool.
the bacon soda, and the cucumber soda. And I teased yesterday that we were going to drink them,
We're gonna drink it, yeah.
and we haven't drunk them yet. And they're sitting there, but now they're warm, and now I feel like I'm going to have to on the road.
I'm putting mine in the fridge
later.
I'm gonna drink it cold later. I don't want hot pickle juice
No,
or hot pickle soda.
I don't even want cold pickle juice.
I mean, that just sounds so
It sure
gross.
does. The whole
Dude,
thing's just
I love
nasty.
pickle
Why
juice.
the hell would anybody want to drink? But that's why we were going to drink it, is because we wanted to see what it tasted like.
Yeah.
But
So-
but in the gift shop, I can't really think. I mean, there's nothing.
Is there any really expensive alien masks that would be worth purchasing, or are they just?
I don't know. I haven't seen one. I'm gonna have to
I
look
haven't
now.
seen any. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Perhaps that's a business you could get into. Anyway,
or making props. That would be another thing down here because Star Trek would do well in
You
this.
would do well, yeah.
Or
Yeah,
just
you made props.
laser guns
Oh,
that
yeah.
shoot real lasers.
that'd be cool. Oh,
That'd be
there's your nightly broadcast booth right there, bro.
Right there, yep.
I think this would be I don't know what they do with this room the rest of the year, or the rest of.
You know what? I would have them build a room right in the back, glass it in.
Why? What's wrong with this room? This is perfect. Right here at the front
except
door.
it's right next door to this. nasty
You move
mess.
that thing. And besides, what's wrong with that? I mean, every now and then you hear an atomic
that's
bomb
fine.
go off.
Yeah.
Plus, that's at night. At least I'm saying that your show is going to be at night. You're not going to run this thing during the day when the museum is open. We want the Brad Staggs experience at night at the museum.
Hashtag the Brad life.
Yeah.
Night at the museum. Ooh. That's. Hold on, I'm writing that down.
Gotcha.
So I've got night at the museum.
How many $1 million ideas do I have to?
Right, and I've got the
Live
is live.
brother.
You're going to look. You're going to be there cleaning the bathrooms anyway. You might as well go live.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. And if I wear some of those meta glasses that have the cameras in the
Yeah, there's
glasses,
the new Oakley ones coming. fairly reasonably priced.
See, and those are based on alien tech. Microwaves based on alien tech that was recovered from places like Roswell. That's what people miss, is that a lot of the where do you think we got microwave ovens? It just popped
I don't know.
out of
I
nowhere.
thought it was. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's always said alien tech.
It's been alien tech.
NASA gave us that, right? So
where did NASA get it? That's why they covered all this stuff up, because they used all of the tech that they found on the ships to make microwave ovens.
I will say I'm happy about Tang.
I miss Tang.
I do miss Tang.
It's still available. It's a product still available.
Yeah, but it's just not the same anymore. Tang is not what it used to be. It isn't. Look, see, we're getting
last time you had Tang.
It's been too long, quite frankly.
Okay.
And let's see on the screen right now
Schmidt.
we've got a live view of the inner workings.
Yeah.
Of what's happening in the back of the Alien Museum, and see, this is
where
where
you talked to yesterday.
Yeah, that's Don Schmidt
Schmidt
right there. He's kind of
not him, but he's doing. What is he just sitting there yapping, trying to hawk a book? Get him over here.
We got somebody else supposed to be coming in.
He
momentarily.
loves people.
He does, yeah. And then behind Don Schmidt is Tom Reed.
I don't know what's wrong with Don, but he loves people.
Yeah,
he really does.
Yeah, that's the guy you talked to him yesterday too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we talked to Tom.
Yeah.
Yep. Tom has it's not the Berkshire.
It's not the Berkshire incident, although it says there on his big sign, the Berkshire's UFO. So
But I was told it was not, wasn't I?
yeah,
Yes,
I
I
think
was
so.
told no, it's not the Berkshire.
It's not that.
He kept diverting that. That's what everybody calls it, but it's really this.
Oh, look.
See, that's the thing. I do have this question. All of these stories, while we're scanning the museum, which I love actually, but all of these stories have so many tentacles.
Yes,
They all do.
That
Yes.
go. I mean, it's just like never freaking ending, and they all the people. The guy you talked to yesterday, Ron, is that his name?
Don.
His name? Don.
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 Yeah, Don.
He's the mom owned the restaurant.
No, that's Tom.
That was Tom Reed.
Jeez.
Yeah. Where his mom and grandmother got switched in the
Yeah,
seats of the car.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. No, that's Tom.
But they weren't surrounded by the cops. But they were. I tried to say was wrong. I don't know.
Hey, Grandma
why.
went into the thrift store and didn't know what she was doing. And my brother was laying on my leg. Anyway, all these, it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
They all have, like, you'll ask them a question. Well, that's when so and so happened. Well, yes, but also, and then you've got another 18 hours of another story.
I know.
Incredible.
Each one is its own little rabbit hole.
That's for sure. It's incredible.
Those are suckers that move.
Those are the ones that need to be fixed.
Those are the ones that require fixing.
Yeah.
And I have offered to come and fix them anytime they need to be fixed, because
Do you think you could do it? Or do we need to rebuild the whole thing?
Let's just start with trying to repair one of them, and then, because that still the spaceship spins around and smoke comes out.
When does that happen?
It's like the
It's
top
like
of
once
every
an
hour.
I think so. I've only seen it happen twice since we've been here the 3 days, so I don't know how often it's happening.
Call them up and tell them to do it.
Maybe, is there a button we can push that just makes it
we're
happen?
live on the air. Tell them to push the damn button.
I don't. Hey, somebody push the button.
Who's taking the video? Beth is, right?
Yeah.
She just produced video from.
No, Beth, she's out there live right now.
Well, then go push the button.
Beth, if you can hear us, go ask them to push the button on this.
Don't ask them, just do it.
She'll hear that at about 4 minutes.
We don't know
after
where the
delay.
No, she's live with us. There's not a delay. It's just that she may not be listening.
She's not listening.
Yeah.
Even when she's listening.
Oh, wait. Oh,
push the button.
Oh, there's a switch. Oh.
There you go.
Did she find the switch?
Yeah, she did. She showed
You
it
kidding?
to us.
Do it.
Just You don't have a hair on your
Do
butt
it.
if you don't push that button.
You aren't kidding.
Push the button.
What kind of producer?
There she comes. She's coming around. She's coming up.
She's got to come around the corner. No, you go push the button. I'm not going to push the
Go
button.
push it. So one of you two need to do it.
That's funny.
If that button is pushable, I'm going to go.
That's funny.
Yes, that button has to be pushed.
She's about to come around the corner. Is she not coming around the corner?
Yeah, I thought she
want
was.
that button pushed on the air.
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, she's going to get
Dennis.
Oh, right.
We got to talk to Dennis. Damn it.
Okay, that's great. Talk to Dennis. Push the button. I don't care who she's talking to. Push the button.
She disconnected. So.
Wow.
No, it has to be done on the air.
She just virtually hung up on us.
Yeah.
It has to be done on the air. I don't care who she's talking to. My gosh.
Look.
How do you keep that around? Seriously?
I don't know. I have no clue how this it's horrible. It really truly is. I'm trying to remember here. It was 37 impairments, extensive research, underground base. That's right. I had to, because everybody again has their own little thing. I was trying to remember what
his
Dennis
bio.
Yeah, and they're all connected to the Roswell UFO Museum, which is a fascinating again. COVID. The COVID pandemic forced him to retire. Well, I'd be pissed off if I was Dennis Balthaser.
No kidding.
Oh,
so I find it interesting that even during the Roswell days here, or the UFO Festival, or the Galacticon, or whatever the heck they call it, they have this event that's happening in Roswell.
It's the annual UFO Festival.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I got it. Okay, easy. I find it interesting that they don't have some kind of, today's the day we're all going to the site, and they've rented, some guy's ranch to get there. Because I realize it's on federal land, but they can't get there because the owners of the land around it won't let them on there. Why? I mean, tell Bill to open up the gate.
You'd think.
Let us in.
You'd think.
For one day, we're all going to be out there, and we're going to bring as many people as we can. And we're going to go to the site.
You would think.
But so.
No. And gosh, I hate to say goodbye, Jeff, but have a bigger name on the other line.
Oh, wow.
Bye, Dennis. Jeffy.
Okay, so I'll give you a joke of the day if you want.
Oh, okay, what is it?
What's the joke of the day?
How do you organize a space party?
I don't know. How do you organize a space party?
You plan it.
Oh, my God.
Wait, we hung around for that? Wow.
Oh, bye, Jeffy.
Dennis Balthaser joins us now here in the studio here at the UFO Museum in Roswell, New Mexico. I just saw Dennis. May I call you Dennis? The pandemic forced you to retire.
Pretty much, yeah. I was doing tours here in town, 2 a day, 5 days a week for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And the pandemic hit, I had to quit. And I told the wife, I've done the research for 30 years. I can't do the tours anymore. I'm 83 years old. That's it. I'm going to retire. You can tell that didn't work. Museum called me out of retirement. And I come in on weekends usually and do mini lectures. Try to stay involved with it.
You've done extensive research into Area 51, the pyramids in Egypt, underground bases, which lately I have been, especially the pyramids. I'm assuming, have been keeping up with these. Was it the SAR side aperture radar? Side aperture.
Oh,
radar?
where they're scanning below the pyramids.
Yeah. What do you make of that?
I think 80% of Egypt has never been found.
Oh, really?
Still under sand.
That makes sense to me.
If you watch a TV show, every TV show they're digging into new areas.
Yep.
So I think personally 80% has not ever been discovered. The Sphinx recently we found out has a hole in the neck. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They went in there. There's a tube goes down. They think there's a city underneath the Sphinx.
A city? I had not heard this.
Yep.
Wow.
A city.
Wow.
I know that the guy who had been in charge of the Egyptian Antiquities Department, Zahi Hawass.
Yep, Zahi Hawass.
Who's been very forceful in his way of thinking that there's nothing below the Sphinx, that everything that's been found was discovered by either him or, no, mostly him.
Don't believe a word he says.
That's kind of already where I was, but what I mean, he comes
He's too
across
vocal. He's too vocal and too
self-centered.
It's all about me.
Yeah, that and it's all Egyptian, and we know
That's
better.
the other thing. So you think that the Egyptians may have come into possession of the pyramids already in existence, and what's your
I think
theory?
the pyramids and the Sphinx probably are 10 to 50,000 years old, much older than we've been told.
What do you think they are? What do you think the pyramids are?
Well, I was on the board of the Pyramid Association several years, and one of our researchers spent 2 nights on top of the big pyramid. It's flat,
Right.
30 by 30 feet.
Yep.
He had some equipment up there. He is convinced it's built as an energy machine.
That's what we've been talking about. Yeah.
That's the thing that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be for Khufu, pharaoh of the 4th dynasty,
Right.
3,000 years ago. They never have found anything in the pyramid for the afterlife. We found a 3-inch statue of him miles away from the pyramids.
Mm-hmm.
The thing, my background is civil engineering.
Okay.
The thing that's always fascinated me is those stones in the pyramid. 2.5 million stones that weigh 2 to 70 tons each.
Right.
They had to be quarried, put on a raft, brought up the Nile, across a plateau, 450 feet in the air.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world did they do that?
That's a good question.
Now, the last job I did for the highway department in engineering was the Houston Ship Channel Bridge. I went to South Africa 3 times to inspect the steel. That's a 1,200-foot span. We got to the end, we were off by 3 feet. Dropped some steel in there, the bridge was finished.
Right.
The pyramid is off by 1/4 inch on each side.
Every time I look into the pyramids and how the accuracy, the way they are aligned with north and south and east and west, and the stars.
You just triggered something on me.
All right.
You said north, south, east, west. If you take all the land mass of the earth, put it together into one land mass, the pyramids are dead center.
Really? So let me make sure I understand this. Take and kind of just push up all the land around. They'd be dead center?
Yep.
How'd you figure that out?
Do the research.
How did they figure that out?
Wow. So you think they're up to 50,000 years old?
Possibly.
And
I don't know how old, but
right.
I'm guessing.
I mean, sure. Have you seen, I can't remember the guy's name, but his YouTube channel is The Land of Chem, CHEM. And one of his theories for, it's not the step pyramid, it might be the red pyramid. It's one of the other. Anyway, it was a plant for manufacturing aqueous ammonia. Yeah. Have you seen that?
I've heard of it. I don't know much about it.
He goes through all the steps and what you would need, and the air pressure and the water pressure and all of these things, and it all makes perfect sense within the confines of this pyramid. And the guy who I guess invented the process here in America went to Egypt first, saw that, went okay, and here makes the machine that does it here. Mm-hmm. And it would be, I guess they would use it for fertilizer.
Well, Napoleon used the Sphinx face for gun practice.
Target practice, yeah.
Did they just not like, why, when I mean, what was his?
No telling. Napoleon spent a night in the big pyramid. Mm-hmm. He foresaw his future. And he came out, he didn't talk about it at all.
Really?
He said it forecast his future for him.
He didn't like that, apparently. He didn't like what he saw. I mean, is it everything we find, or it appears anyway, everything that they find in Egypt is always a temple. It's never this was a facility to wash clothes, or it's always a temple. Anything we find anywhere, Göbekli Tepe, you're familiar with that? It's a temple.
Yeah.
Why is that? I mean, is that accurate, or is it just our tendency as modern humans
Well,
to
there
put
were
that
some
stamp?
that were baths where people could go and do baths.
Right.
But most of them, like you say, were temples. And
so they really were temples.
there's no telling what they worshipped.
Okay.
The sun was a big one that they worshipped.
Right.
And they just, time of day or sun, moon, whatever, they decided that's going to be a god, and that's the way it was.
Were they an advanced civilization? Did they have technology, do you think? Were they smart?
Yeah, I do. I think the other 80 or 90 pyramids in Egypt were built by Egyptians, but they're poor replicas of those three. And for that reason, I don't buy the fact that they're the same as the old ones.
Right. It does. And have you seen the pottery?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Ben Vanderwyck? He has another YouTube channel. He's done the vase project. I can't remember what it's called, but they've scanned some of these vases and looked at the wall thickness on them, and they're like made out of stone, and they're incredibly thin. It's like, how in the world did they back then create these vases out of stone?
Well, some of the stones in the pyramid were so accurately cut, you can't get a piece of paper in between them. Now,
how
what
do
were
you
their
think?
tools?
Yeah, how do you think they did it?
There's been a lot of theories. I don't know how they did it.
There have been saw marks, or at least what look like saw marks, on some of the stones.
The ones that amaze me are the holes when they do a hole in a rock. And there is some indication there was something used to get in that rock. I don't know what it was.
There have been a couple of people who have tried to replicate that and have used like a copper tube and some sand and a whole lot of water, and they've shown that you can do that. It's going to take you days to drill an inch or two.
Well, that's the pyramids supposedly were 20,000 people over a 20-year period.
Right.
I did some calculations on that. They had to set a stone every 90 seconds.
Right, which is ridiculous.
Can't do it.
No.
And same with going up. There's been a lot of theories on how they raised it up. One was a ramp.
Right.
But they didn't realize that ramp would have more material in it than the pyramid, because every time they go up one, they have to extend it.
Yeah.
Or widen it.
Right.
That would be more material than in the pyramid.
Right. And if they built the ramps, where'd all that material go?
Yeah.
And it always bugs me to think about how, I guess you can put a stone, 5 ton, 10 ton, whatever, on a boat, but on a wooden boat, does that work?
To bring it up the Nile.
Yeah, to bring it up the Nile. I know we can put cars and stuff on ships now and sail them across, but it seems to me way back when they were making boats out of wood, it would be kind of tough to put a boulder the size of a car.
The big quarry is at Aswan, where the new dam is.
Right.
That's a long distance from the Giza.
Yeah.
So I can't answer your question. I'd have to answer the same question. How did they do that?
Right.
I don't think there's any way of transporting other than by barge from that location to where they are.
I even saw a documentary where they floated them. I mean, they put stuff around them, around the tops of them, and roped it, and then just floated them. I'm like, but they would have had to build more levees, I guess. I don't know what I'm thinking, up to the pyramids just to get them.
The river came closer to where the pyramids are than back then than it does now. And that was all green, lush.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a completely different climate back then.
Right.
And trees and everything else. And now it is, feet. I don't know how many feet of sand are out there in the desert, but
bunch.
A lot.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I think there's so much stuff underneath that sand that is blown in and covered things up, because the Sphinx was
I'm sorry to say, didn't they have to dig way down on the Sphinx?
The Sphinx was covered in sand up to the neck till the 1800s.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they uncovered the body.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are incredible stories, I think, waiting to be discovered.
And I think the Sphinx has proof of water deterioration.
Yeah, the way the sides of it. Yeah. There are those who argue
there
it's
hadn't been
wind.
that much water in Egypt in 10,000 years.
Right.
So how old is it?
Well, so do you think that the Egyptians will ever relinquish the story or their hold on it?
Not as long as Howells is there.
That's kind of the way I feel. And he's not in charge anymore, is he?
He appointed himself to some position for life. I don't think it's antiquities. I think one of the reasons he does that is the tourism industry. That's their big economy is tourism.
Right.
So
and they've changed, I guess, like the entrance facilities to go to the big Pisa, the pyramid at Giza, the large one, the Great Pyramid. There's some new visitor center that it's not.
They just built a new museum.
Right.
In Cairo. I don't know how many millions of dollars it costs. It's gigantic. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to get all the King Tut stuff in that one museum. It's scattered everywhere. Mm-hmm. Right. They're trying to get it all in one museum now. Yeah. But that, of all the research I do, the pyramids probably the most fascinating.
Oh, I can imagine. Will we ever have disclosure of anything? I mean, how close are we to getting disclosure on those, on the pyramids, on UFOs, on Area 51? We're going to live the rest of our lives not knowing any of these things, or do you think we'll eventually get something?
I'm 83 years old.
And you're still...
It won't happen in my lifetime.
It likely won't happen in ours either.
Well, they've covered this up for 77 years here in Roswell.
Yeah.
We have interviewed over 600 people over the years. They've all passed away.
Right.
The judicial system in this country is set up where one witness can put someone away for life or execution. One witness. We had 600 that couldn't get in the courtroom. Now, they've all passed away. This may be the plan. Everybody dies, there's nothing to talk about.
Then it just goes away.
I'm hopeful that there's somebody out there that will give a deathbed confession. That's our last hope as far as trying to get information.
Can you hang around for a few more minutes? Because we've got to close out the live show here, but I want to talk to you for a few more minutes, if we can, just record it, and so we can play it back next week. But we are out of time for this. This wraps up our live coverage here.
This does wrap up our live coverage here
of Roswell, New Mexico, and the UFO Festival. It's still going on through tomorrow, so if you are in the area, or if you can get here, or if you own a plane or a flying saucer, or teleportation device. If you can
it was
get
fun,
here.
though. We had a good time.
Yeah.
We'll replay some of it this
Thank you to
week.
Karen and to Renee and to everybody we talked to. Really appreciate it. And
see you guys.
We'll be back.
Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.